Hey guys, Jordan here. Today we're checking out something a little bit different. We've got a pre-built system here from UK system integrator AWD-IT. They've kindly sent over their M120R MSI gaming system, and a big thank you to MSI for sponsoring this unboxing overview. And this one we're going to check out the system itself, have a look at the components that are included in the system, and in a couple of days I'll give you my full review, go through benchmarks, the nitty-gritty, cable management, all that kind of stuff, and give you my overall thoughts. But let's get it out of the box and we'll take a closer look. So we have got a box in a box, which is always good for shipping something. Motherboard box with all of our bits and bobs in down the left there. We've got our Wi-Fi antennas, extra screws and bits and bobs. And of course our power cable. Now the B840 motherboard is a bit of an upgrade from the A620 that it comes with by standard. £20 upgrade, but worth that because you've then got a bit more I/O, and also if you look to maybe change the CPU at a later date, you've got some higher end VRMs which will support that upgrade. Now a couple of other things about AWD, just while I open this out. You've got a 3-year warranty on this system, and this is a built to order system that will be ready in 4 days from the point of ordering, so not too long at all to get your own system. And speaking of, the M120R that this case is in is going to be an M80X, can't wait for the shock, M80X system, so more compact than your standard full-size tower, which is nice if you're after a smaller system or you're a little bit limited on the space that you want to take up. So there we have it. We've also got some packing material inside that we'll take out in a minute. But this is the, as I mentioned, the M120R MSI case, airflow optimized and focused case. Let's just lay this down so we can take out the packing material inside. Tempered glass side panel just slides off. There's also protective film on there for you to take off. And there we've got some packing around the components. We'll leave that for a minute just so we can have a look around the actual system itself. So on the top of the case we've got a power button. There's also a reset, hard drive LED indicators, headphone and microphone jack, and 3 USB type A ports. There's also a little button on the top there, looks like that will change to RGB lighting. Fan filter with support for, looks to be a 240mm air on the top there, should you maybe want to upgrade at a later point in time. On the front of the case we have 3 120mm fans, so a nice lot of airflow going through the system, as I mentioned also RGB. Then going to the inside we've got a rear 120mm rear exhaust. Our motherboard, as mentioned, is the B840M-B, and the CPU is going to be an AMD Ryzen 5 8400F, which is 6 cores and 12 threads. Of course, you can see we've got our MSI cooler on there, nice little upgrade from the standard AMD stock cooler. Going to keep that CPU a little bit cooler, and there's also 16GB, 2 8GB sticks of Kingston Fury Beast in there as well. Nice to see they're using Kingston, brand that I know and trust. I've used Kingston for years now, and it's nice to see that you're using these in pre-builts. Also, obviously, DDR5 at the moment is the sticking point with buying systems, but if you do buy pre-built, they can obviously buy the RAM in at a cheaper cost as they're buying so much of it. So there is a way to get a system with DDR5 a little bit cheaper. Of course, there is the offset of this being a pre-built system. You will be paying for that to be built. So there is going to be a bit of an offset there, but we'll talk more about that in the full review. Just zooming in so you can see that memory a little bit better. That's going to be running at 5600 megatransfers per second and CAS latency 40. So certainly entry level DDR5, but it is nice to be on the DDR5 platform, especially with the higher bandwidth that it offers. And also, just while we're zoomed in, you can also see our storage there. That's a crucial E100 480GB SSD. Possibly a little bit low for gaming. You might want a bit of a bigger library, especially if you plan to play GTA 6 when that comes out. So maybe look to upgrade that at the time of buying your system. Of course, our graphics card, this is going to be the RTX 5060 Ti, the MSI Shadow 2XOC. It is an 8GB card, but does support DLSS and frame gen, so you can use those obviously to bump your frame rates up, but perfectly good enough for using Ultra on 1080p or maybe going 1440p low to mid tier. Of course, we'll cover the actual performance that it can do in the full review as well. Going a bit further down, our power supply at the bottom here is an MSI Unit 2, 600 watts, and a 80 plus rated non-modular power supply, so we'll have a look at the cable management as well. Before we go to that back of the system, we've got clear CMOS and also a BIOS flash buttons on the board, which is very good, especially to have in an entry level board. Really good features to see. HDMI if you want to use integrated graphics or maybe you're troubleshooting as well. They've also got 3 USB 3.0 ports type A and 2 USB 2A ports. They've also got a 2.5GB LAN. And then our audio options, graphics card options down there as well. So they've got 3 display ports and 1 HDMI. And of course, power supply right at the bottom. Let's have a look at AWD's cable management on the back. Wow, very neat. Not too much to say actually, because they've done such a good job at keeping it nice and clean. So as I mentioned, this is a non-modular unit, but they've bunched it up pretty well. Obviously there's only so much you could do with a non-modular power supply. It is quite difficult to work with, so it's nice to see that they've done a very good job though, considering. So looks like we've also got a hub. There are also some extra ports you can use on there, so a couple more 3-pin addressable 5 volts there. One of those pins is rather bent. There we go, let's get that back into place. And another one further down, so you've got 3 more ports you can use there. Seems the LED is also connected onto there as well. We'll look at the options and things in a minute. I can't see any pre-routed cables for any additional SATA or anything like that, so if you are looking to maybe add a larger hard drive for games or just mass storage, you will need to route your own cable, but shouldn't be too difficult. So last little thing, just to have a look at the system on, and let's see. There we go. So all the RGB synced up. Of course, we have got the pre-installed fans I mentioned in the front and back that do RGB. Is that button for RGB that changes? Yeah, it is. So there you go. Let's just have a little cycle through. There we go. Oh, that's quite nice. Pulsating. Nice kind of vaporwave colours. The same in red. I'm guessing it's going to be just different effects, and then kind of those pre-built or preset colours rather. There we go, we'll leave it on that one. But yeah, nice little system. As I mentioned, $999, around $1,200, I think, with the exchange conversion. I was going to say currency exchange, I've got modded up there. But nice little system. Of course, DDR5 is going to really affect the price of these systems at the moment. But considering we do have a 50 series card in this, it looks like on paper, pretty good system. We'll get this tested. Of course, if there's anything specific you'd like to see, please have a comment and I'll make sure to include that in the full review. But yeah, very impressed with my first little system from AWD. Big thank you to them for sending this over for me to look at. Of course, thank you to MSI for sponsoring this overview. Stay tuned, get subscribed, ding the bell so you don't miss the full review, and that goes live next week. And of course, leave your questions down below. Thank you for watching. The links will be in the description box below if you want to have a look or learn some more information. I'll see you all in the next one.